I'm back on the Appalachian Trail. I'm doing a section hike from Fox Creek, Virginia, back to the Woods Hole Hiker Hostel, 113 miles in 7 days. So stay with me, this is going to be a good journey. It's been a while since I've been on the AT. Last October, I finished up the Georgia section, and I decided for my vacation, I wanted to come out here and do a section on the AT. So I'm picking up where I left off. Last time I was out here at Fox Creek, I went south through Grayson Highlands down to US 19E at Roan Mountain, 116 miles in 7 days, and that was my first big multi-day trip back in March of 2020. So I'm picking up where I left off on that section, but this time I'm going north. First intersection at about 2 miles in. All right, so I've made it home for the night. I'm at the Trimpe shelter here in Southern Virginia. Today I just did 12 and a half miles with just over 2,000 feet of elevation gain. So I got a late start. I got dropped off at Fox Creek by my shuttle driver, Don. Great guy, really cares about hikers. He dropped me off at about noon and took my time, got here under 5 hours moving time with about an hour and 21 minutes of breaks. Just an easy first day. Feel a little tired though. I don't know if it's because I didn't sleep well last night, but anyway, I have the shelter to myself and did read on the comments that there are a lot of mice in here, so I may choose to not sleep in a shelter. I'm still debating. I'm not crazy about mice, but looks like a pretty nice shelter though. It's got a fireplace there, as you can see. And I didn't see anybody on the trail all day. And that's what my shuttle driver had told me this time of year here in Virginia. You really don't see a lot of people on the trail. He's been shuttling for 18 years, so I only saw one guy hiking in sandals, and he didn't have a pack on. He said he was just going to his home, so evidently he's a local. But it's been a pretty good first day so far, so the weather was great. Mild temperatures, breezy, bright sunshine, so hopefully I'll have more of the same for the most of the journey, if not all of it. There is a forecast of rain moving in starting Sunday, so you're not guaranteed of good weather in the Appalachian Mountains. It could rain on you any day despite the forecast. But follow me along as I let the journey unfold, and I may talk to you again soon. If not, I'll say goodnight now, but you may hear from me again. So one other thing I thought I'd share with you guys. Here in Southern Virginia, they have bear boxes instead of cables at the shelters. They're not at every campsite, but they are at the shelters. This is the last shelter. You see it's right in front of the shelter here. This is the last shelter, according to what I had read, that has a bear box. So I guess if they don't have cables, I'll have to figure out a hang. I did bring some rope, so that shouldn't be an issue. But Virginia and Georgia are pretty unique in that some of the shelters in Georgia also had bear boxes. But, I mean, if you go to the Smokies, all the shelters on the AT in the Smokies and all the campsites in the Smokies have cables, which doesn't matter to me. It's just bear boxes are kind of nice because if it's raining, it keeps your stuff dry, so that's another added bonus. looking forward to this one. I ordered this one on Amazon. You know what? I think I bought this one at REI, but I haven't had the chicken and dumplings for a long time. And it's one of my favorite dehydrated meals, especially from this company right here, Mountain House. I don't really like most of their meals. I usually go for Backpacker's Pantry or Peak Refuel, but this one actually tastes really good. It's like homemade soup. Before I take it down, I thought I'd show you guys that I set my tent up in the shelter. Keep mice off of me. Even though I didn't see any, I'm sure there are mice here, because other people have commented on the Far Out app that they've seen them. All right, leaving the shelter. A little bit of a late start, 8:22, but I only have a better part of 17 miles to go, so I can make it relatively early, well before dusk. So this shelter was pretty nice though. I liked it. It was had a nice privy. Spring was really close, and the bear box was really convenient, being right in front of the shelter. So anyway, I'll be talking to you guys throughout the day. This section's been pretty rocky and uphill for a while. Uphill isn't too bad though. It's, a nice gradual incline, but still it's very rocky, so it doesn't make it easy on the feet. Taking a little break here on the stump. Got a nice view here. Rye Valley. See, I'm gonna enjoy a nice little break here for 20 minutes or so. I've pushed 5 miles, so I've earned myself a break. That's a true pervy. Guess he's going into his burrow. All right, I'm home for the night at the Chatfield shelter. Looks like I have this one to myself also, because it's after 5:30 and no one else is here unless they show up late. So I'll show you guys around. They took the privy off the hill here. There was a privy up the hill there, up those stone steps up ahead there, and they took it out. I guess it was in bad need of repair, so they just took it out. But this is their idea of bear cables here. So I guess I'll just have to make it work, because all these trees are too tall for me to use for my my bear hang. There's no limbs that are low enough. And there's really no place for a tent or a hammock except for over there, right through those rhododendrons. There's a little spot for about one tent or hammock. This one's pretty good. Another good one from Mountain House. The Mexican style adobo rice and chicken. Actually tastes really good. Hey everybody, it's day 3. I look like a hot mess. Albeit I slept pretty well last night. The winds did blow in pretty fierce middle of the morning, and I was glad I was in the shelter because there's a lot of deadfall out here. Getting ready to eat my breakfast. I've got blueberry walnut oats and just sterilizing my spoon right now. The little trick I use is boil the water with a spoon in the pot. Sterilizes it from the previous meal, so you don't have that taste, even though I do wipe it off, but I like it to be sterilized. So I'm gonna eat breakfast here, and figure once I get to I-81 there are a couple options for food, convenience stores, restaurants. There is a restaurant, but I don't think it'll be open by the time I get there, called the Sweetwater Venue, and I've read good reviews about it. So I wish I could make it to eat a burger there, but I don't think they open till noon, so I don't think I'll be able to take advantage of that today. Anyway, I'll see what they have, and I'm gonna make it either. I'm kind of tempted to go to the next hostel, because the last 2 nights I've been in the shelters, and I would like a shower because I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to that sort of a thing. But I had it originally intended to spend the night at the Burke's Garden hostel tomorrow night, and I don't think I really want to spend the night in a shelter this early, or a hostel this early, but I may do it. We'll see. All right, getting back on trail, 8:45 a.m. A little bit late, but that's okay because I think I may stay in the Bear Garden hostel tonight. I'm debating that as I go, and that's only 17.3 miles as opposed to the 19.3 I was going to go to the next shelter. So we'll see. That's peculiar. I've never heard high tension power lines buzz before. I've just passed by a couple of them. One just about 100 feet from here, and these are buzzing, those weren't. There's I-81 right there. Stopped at an Exxon gas station and got some junk food because I wasn't going to wait for Sweetwater venue to open. And now I'm getting back on the trail here up ahead. Here's the trail right off the road. It's the on-ramp for I-81. The gas station up there where I stopped. Yeah, Sweetwater venue had another hour to open by the time I got here, so I wasn't going to wait. So hopefully if I do go to the Bear Garden Hiker Hostel, maybe they'll have good options for town food. There you go. I've done a quarter of the entire Appalachian Trail over the course of two years or better. This is the ruins of the old Davis Path shelter. Just a picnic table, and I guess a set of steps, and the privy are all that remain. It's a pretty big climb. It's 4:45, and those dark clouds overhead, I think a storm is coming in because it's a lot darker in the forest at this early hour. Monsoon rains came, so I think I am going to the hostel for sure now. Alright, so I'm over here at the Bear Garden Hostel and staying in the bunkhouse with 3 fine gentlemen from Raleigh, North Carolina on a 2-day section hike on the holiday weekend. And that's the bathroom over there. This is the bathhouse. I'm about to take a shower, get cleaned up, get all that funk off me from the trail. Had to get out of the rain because I got really soaked. Came down 20 minutes real good. See, this is the rural road here. And it's still cloudy out, like it could still rain, so I'm glad I got out of the elements. That's only $20 a night here. Owners are very nice. And I'm gonna leave at about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, get back on the trail, which is down that way. All right, good morning, folks. It is the morning of day 4. And it's lightly raining. Slept pretty good at the hostel, Bear Garden Hostel. Bob and Bertie Lingham are great hosts. Would highly recommend it if you're doing this stretch of the AT. If you want some downtime to try out their hostel, spend the night, take advantage of the amenities, because they're very knowledgeable. And I enjoyed my stay, meeting the 3 section hikers, Randy, Dan, and Kent. Great guys. Had some great conversations last night, so enjoyed my stay even more. So now I have 13 miles to go to the next hostel, Bear Garden. Didn't originally intend to stay at Bear Garden. It was just because I got that heavy downpour yesterday and I got soaked. That kind of necessitated it. And it was nice to get a shower after a couple days of being on the trail, getting the stink off of me, washing my clothes. So today I'm probably going to get wet because it's off and on rain all day. And that's okay, because if I'm staying at the next hostel, should be able to remedy that. And then at the end of today, I'll have 53 miles left. I'm at mile 46 right now. Miles completed on this 113 mile stretch from Fox Creek to Woods Hole Hostel near Parisburg. It's actually 11 miles south of Parisburg. So anyway, I'm going to make some miles and I'll be talking to you guys throughout the day. All right, so I made it to the top of that hill climb, 1.2 miles in 25 minutes moving time. It was tough, but I didn't stop, kept on moving at a considerable speed and feel pretty energetic today. So it looks like I'm going downhill to the shelter, which is where I would have stayed last night had I not chosen to stay at the hostel. So anyway, I'm going to keep on moving because it is raining still. This is the first real blowdown I've seen on the AT so far that obstructs the path. I mean, I saw a lot of this on the Benton, Nakai, and Bartram, but AT is more traveled and better maintained, so I guess you just gotta expect it this time of year. There's a Knott Mall shelter where I would have stayed the night had it not been raining like this. So I'm gonna take a break here. I'm 2 miles in and get some refreshments in me and resume hiking. All right, so 5.87 miles in, going Nobo, and I've made it to Lick Creek. Signs warning about crossing because the bridge is out in the event of heavy rain, which has been consistently raining for almost 24 hours. It was advised to take caution when crossing, so I'm going to see where I can cross safely. Looks like it's not too deep right there, but it looks like it would be deep just to get over to those rocks. So I'll get with you guys in a second and let you know where I decide to cross. All right, so there's the rope to aid me in crossing. Or I could just cross here. Either way, it doesn't look that deep. I didn't think it would be. I mean, this rain's not been that hard, even though it's been coming down good for a while. I don't think it'll be much of an issue. The current is not terrible. So I've done worse, so this will be actually not too bad as far as what I've done in the past. Here we go. The hardest part is walking across the rocks in bare feet. Because yeah, my trail runners are wet, but I don't want them soaked. So here goes. Rocks are hard on the feet. You can see it's ankle deep. Somebody said knee deep on the app. And the rocks are slippery. It's gonna be slow going. Trying to maintain my balance on these slippery rocks. Might have to turn this off. I'm halfway there. I'm gonna turn this off because to make it easier to walk without holding the phone while holding my trail runners in the other hand. I made it to the other side. The hardest part was walking on those slippery rocks. But I'm here. Now it's time to make some progress and get out of this dreary wet weather. There, somebody left some water jugs. That's trail magic because it's been pretty dry in this section of Virginia for a while, but I don't think you have to worry about that now. There's plenty of water out here. You ever see a crawdad out of the water? He's just walking around this big open field. There was a pond I passed some ways back. Maybe there's another one he's going to. Socked in with fog. Been walking through this field for the better part of a mile. It was thick too. Hopefully I'm almost out of it. All right, getting ready to get picked up and leave the Burke Garden Hostel where I stayed the night. Get out of the rain because it was raining fierce yesterday all day and I got soaked once again. So I got a chance to get a shower and wash and dry my clothes and had a nice dry bed to sleep in. You see it's on a farm here in the Burke Garden Valley of Virginia, beautiful area. The valley was created by limestone caverns that collapsed, and if you look at it from an aerial photograph, it kind of looks like caldera of an extinct volcano from well above the area. You see it's rolling hills, rolling green hills. It's beautiful. So anyway, I'm gonna get back on the trail here. This is gonna be my biggest day. I'm gonna try and make it to the Healthy Mill shelter. 22.5 miles, close to 23 miles. So we'll see how it goes, because today is supposed to be a little easier compared to yesterday. Yesterday was the second lowest mileage day, but the hardest in terms of elevation gain. I had a 5-mile uphill in one section alone. All right, stop for a little break at the Jenkins shelter. And 14 miles to the shelter I want to make it to tonight, which is Healthy Mill. And 11 miles back to the last shelter, which was on top of the mountain before I got to the hostel last night. Looks like a nice setting though in a pine forest, but a lot of flies trying to land on me. I'd say the water's flowing good after all the rain yesterday. And the sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Big old toad here I almost stepped on. He was so well camouflaged I didn't even see him. Now this would make a nice camp spot, but it's 5.2 miles from the Helvey Mill shelter where I'm trying to make it to tonight. So I guess I won't be staying here. Beautiful view though. There's I-77 down there. About a half a mile I'm supposed to cross it, I guess underneath. I'll show you when I get there. Now I'm crossing over I-77. This is the way I came up. I parked my car at the Woods Hole Hostel. Thought the AT was nearby here. It's very rural in this part of Virginia, but I have really good cell service because there was a tower right on top of the mountain. All right, here's where the trail ducks back into the woods. I made it to the Helvey's Mill shelter finally, and it was about 23.7 miles to get here from the Burke Garden Hostel. My longest day yet on this segment of the AT, and I am beat. My feet don't look too good either, so I'm gonna let them dry out because my trail runners stayed wet. They didn't dry last night, so I was walking in wet trail runners all day, and my feet look like they have trench feet. So I have 2 blisters on my right foot, so hopefully it won't be a problem. Because I have 31.5 miles left to complete this section of the AT. I'm going to do 18 tomorrow is my plan, and 13 to finish on the final day, Thursday. But I've been here a little bit. I just had to walk down the side path right there, blazed in blue in front of the shelter. It's about 0.2 of a mile downhill, down a winding switchback to a rhododendron thicket where there's a stream. I had to come back up. So I think it's 6 miles after this before the next water source is. So I wanted to top off for now, and I didn't drink enough on the hike up here. Went 9 miles without drinking anything. So anyway, I'm gonna get settled in here, and I may or may not talk to you a little bit more tonight, but I'll be talking to you soon. All right, it's day 6, getting ready to get back on the trail, getting off to a late start. It's almost 10 o'clock. I had to treat the 3 blisters on my right foot since I had to hike 23.7 miles yesterday with damp running shoes. They didn't fully dry out from the rain. So anyway, treated those. I think I'll be all right. Put some moleskin on them. And I'm going to get off here on the trail. I have about 18 miles to do today. And then if I keep according to my itinerary, I'll have 13 to finish tomorrow. So I'll show you guys everything I can here today. Haven't been filming as much on account of trying to make good time and trying to make my itineraries because I got here late last night. I slept in today, so I wanted to leave about 2 hours ago, but it didn't work out that way. I needed the rest. Looks like fall's coming to Virginia soon. It's been pleasantly cool today too, in the 70s. All right, crossing the bridge over the Kimberling Creek. Oh, it's a nice swaying bridge. It's a pretty lazy creek. Looks kind of deep in places. Suspension bridges sway from side to side. This is Dismal Falls, right off the AT on a side trail, 3/10 of a mile. Pretty flat. Worth it to come down here and see it. So I was going to camp near the waterfall anyway, but I was going to camp on the AT, so now I'm going to camp somewhere down here since I saw a lot of nice campsites. Alright, so this is my last night on the Appalachian Trail on this section hike, and having some green curry. And see my camp here. I'm not in a shelter. I am by Dismal Falls in Virginia. I have 13 miles left to get to my car at the Woods Hole Hostel near Parisburg, and this journey will be complete. 7 days, 113 miles. I know it's not a through hike, but it's a big deal to me, and I've been enjoying it. Thanks for watching. I'll share more with you tomorrow. All right, good morning, folks. It's the final day. I got up a little early today at 5. I slept pretty well, and gonna make the final 13 miles by noon. That's my goal anyway, so if I can get back on trail by 6, I should be able to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to send you guys a hello and say how things are going, and we'll be on the trail soon. Walking out of here in the dark. Got back on the trail at 6:17. It's after 6:30 now. Still dark. Sunrise isn't until around 7. So this is a stream I'm crossing here on the trail. And Virginia's been in a pretty dry spell for a while. Even after all the rain we had Sunday and Monday. This stream is still dried up. So I'm in need of water because I didn't get any water from the creek. So thankfully there are a lot of water crossings on this stretch. So I guess we'll just have to see how they look along the way. So this is the steepest section of the trail that I've done so far on this trip. Leave the best for last, I guess. So that's all right. It's been pretty easy till now. And it's almost 2 miles of climbing though. But most of it is over with. Finally get a view. This is the Wilburn Valley, elevation 3868. It is cloudy though, so the view is not as open as I'd like it to be, but can't have everything. Still beautiful. Standing on a rocky outcrop here. I like all these ferns. Kind of reminds me of a prehistoric forest. All right, this journey is almost over. It was a long section hike of 7 days, 113 miles. Walking the road here to where my car is parked at the Woods Hole Hostel. This section wasn't my favorite, but it was still worthwhile. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite because there weren't a lot of views. There were some waterfalls, so that was pretty cool. Comer's Creek Falls and Dismal Falls. They were pretty nice. But the views were few and far between for 113 miles. It was still beautiful, a lot of wildlife, and I would still do it again. Albeit there are better sections I've done, and there are better sections in Virginia. I hear the Triple Crown is one of the best. Shenandoah National Park is also really good. So something to look forward to in the future on a section hike. But yeah, I enjoyed meeting everybody I met out here. I enjoyed the experience, and it was still a good time. So I treasure these times I could have out here in the woods. All right, so I made it back to the hostel, leaving Woods Hole Hostel to go home, and boy, look at me. I look a little rough. I haven't really looked at myself in a while. But yeah, I have a 3.5 hour drive home, and again, this was a good experience. Even though I got rained on all day Monday, and I got blisters because my trail runners didn't dry out the next day when I did the 23.5 miles. I came out a better person despite it all. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and to all my subscribers, I appreciate all the support, and there will be plenty more trips in the future. Just stay tuned.